Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing this natural everyday look for probably high school. This was aimed for a girl I know who asked me to do an everyday look for high school. She wanted to wear more than just foundation and mascara. So this is what the final look is. I hope this works for you, and I hope you stay tuned to watch it. Make sure to do your eyebrows and prime your lids with an eye primer, concealer, and set it down with an eyeshadow or with a powder before you begin this tutorial, because I did set down my lids and do my eyebrows first. Just keep watching if you'd like to see how to get this look. First off, so I was going to use the I was going to use the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, and so if you're still interested in that, make sure to comment and let me know below. I love this for an everyday look, but I wanted to pick something I know you guys could pick up that would be affordable and something you could use every day. So I'm using the e.l.f. Matte for Mattes palette. Just says matte 83325 or 7E01. I think its original packaging might have said which one, but I'll just show you the colors if I can get it open. That's the second part about this. So these are the colors for this one. You're going to want to get the one with these colors if you're going to imitate this exact look. These are all mattes, so you can use a shimmer if you so desire. Then you're going to want to go in with a crease brush, any brush you have that is like kind of fluffy like this, or like this. You want like a big round fluffy brush. And so I'm going to take, and we're going to go in and use this third shade right here. Try not to show off the reflection. This third shade, and I'm going to take that and go into the crease. There is a bit of kick up, so make sure you don't go too crazy and have a ton amount of pigment where you don't want it yet. So I'm just going back and forth in the crease area and then a little bit above that. Then you can use the same brush if it's only one you have. You can wipe off your pigment on a washcloth, a dry washcloth. Otherwise you're going to make your brush wet, or you can switch to a different brush. I'm going to now go into the third shade from the opposite side this time. So instead of using this shade, now I'm going to go into the third shade on this side right here. So this is like a darker chocolate kind of brown. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to go just in the corner. So I'm going to take it just in this corner, kind of at an angle. And then I'm going to brush it into that shade we were using earlier, just on the outside. Just blending that out into the outside area. This side of my eye, there's always something like this little crease right here hates to pick up some pigments, and it's kind of doing that right now on me. I'm going to brush that in just a little bit into the crease area, just blending it out. Right. Then we're going to switch and go to a flat edged brush. This one kind of has an angle, just any kind of brush that would pack on or not be as fluffy. And then I'm going to go into the first shade, so this shade right here, the very lightest shade, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to apply it to my lid and then by my brow bone. Take that and apply it right here. I'm just applying this on about a third of the lid, and then you can blend it out a little bit with your fluffy brush just so those colors mesh nicely together. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to go under the arc of my brow, and you can cover this whole area since we're using a matte shadow, so sometimes I go more like this. And then you'll want the highest point of your brow to have the most highlight pigment, so to speak. We can also do that with our highlighter. And so I don't make myself look like a raccoon, I'm going to take that light pigment and go here to kind of get rid of any pigment that came in towards my nose and blend it out. Wipe the finger. I don't know why this pigment does not want to stay on this crease in my eye. I'm going to switch to my Eco Tools brush. This is just a tiny lip precision pencil, and I'm going to take that first shade we went into at the transition and go under my eye. And I'm going about 3/4 of the way in, leaving the inner area still light and bright. Then I'm going to take the darker shade we used, and I'm going to apply that to about 1/3 on the outer edge of the eye. I'm going to drag it up just a bit so make sure to blend with the above colors. So you could either throw on some mascara and stop right now with the eyes, or you can go in with some eyeliner. It's kind of up to your taste. I'm going to go in with what I just sharpened. This is the Wet n Wild Kohl eyeliner, and this is in a shade brown, a brown shade. I think it's cocoa or something. It's all worn off really bad on this, so I can't give you exact specs, but it is a dark brown eyeliner by Wet n Wild, and I'm going to take this and apply on the top of my lid. Now I'm pulling at my eye right here, but I'm not pulling too hard. I know some people are like anti-eye pullers. Just dragging that on the outer third of the eye of the bottom lash line. You don't want to go too thick though, because if it's super thick, that's all people are going to notice on your face. So I'm just going to do a small little wing. I'm just going up just a little bit and back in. Nothing too crazy. I'm going to take my finger and just kind of drag up like this. You can also use a makeup wipe to get that exact line if you'd like that. I'm kind of just clearing it off the outside. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to tap the edge a little bit. You don't have to do that necessarily. I typically put my face on before I put mascara so I don't get any like colorful flakes or any powder on my lashes. So now I'm going to move into, I have already prepped with a lotion. I used my Mary Kay Botanical Effects moisturizing gel, and then you can go in with a primer after that if you so desire. So the primer I'm going to go in with is, for the sake of being nice and affordable, I'm going to go in with the Mineral Infused Face Primer by e.l.f. So I'm going to get some of that to apply on my face. Alright, then I'm just going to massage that into my face. It gives you a nice smooth finish. This will kind of help hide any texture on your face. Alright, so I have now applied my primer. I'm going to take my rings off just because I don't want to get them messy with pigment. And I'm going to go in what I use on an everyday basis. And I love this Mary Kay CC cream. This stuff is the bomb for everyday use. I love putting it on. It gives me this flawless natural finish. If you have acne that you're trying to hide, comment that below because I can do an entire video on concealing acne because I used to have horrible acne. I have even written an ebook about it to share with you guys, but I had horrible acne and I have overcome it since. So if you need videos on how to conceal acne, I will also do those. But in this purpose, use whatever foundation you have. I'm just going to use what I love on an everyday basis, and this is the CC Cream by Mary Kay. It has SPF 15 in it, and this is in the shade Very Light because I am a white girl, super white girl. So I'm going to apply that on my face. And on this particular one, I actually use my fingers. When I'm using a foundation, I definitely use a beauty blender or a beauty sponge or a brush. But when I'm using this, I find it just works the best with my fingers. Then I'm going to take my Bare Minerals Bare Skin Complete Coverage Serum Concealer, and I'm just going to use that under my eyes, or if you have any blemishes to hide, this is a good time to do it. So I'm going to apply that under my eyes to brighten them up just a bit, and I'm just going to use my finger to move it around. Then you can also just drag up like this and get more of a seamless line with your eyeshadow. I'm gonna grab my e.l.f. under eye setting powder in this cute little box, little guy right here. And I'm gonna tap that into the lid and set down my under eyes. Now before I do that, I'm going to make sure to take out any creases that is there so I don't set down a crease. Any creases that are there. Pardon my grammar. Now, we're gonna move into our facial setting powder, and I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Fit Me. This is the loose finishing powder. This is in the shade 10, I believe, Fair Light. And I think I would like to pick up the lighter one next time just because this has a little bit more pigment than I need in the winter months. So then I'm going to take a big fluffy powder brush. Doesn't matter what you have, just take a big fluffy brush. This one's from Real Techniques, and I'm going to dip it into the powder, and I'm going to kind of stipple it onto my face. So I'm actually patting it down as opposed to swiping because I don't want to pick up any of the pigment that I just put down on my face. And make sure there's no creasing anywhere you have lines before you set it down. I have a lovely large forehead, so I have to make sure that I don't set a line in my forehead because I have a line right here that loves to just, you know, hang out. But you know, that's my face. I will just accept it. I'm gonna drag it down the neck because you don't want any lines. You don't want to look like your foundation is a different color than your skin because you want to basically trick the eye into believing your skin is just that nice. So you want to make sure you blend it down on your neck. That way nobody knows you're wearing foundation. Depends on your foundation, they might still know. Alright, next I'm going to take the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And this is in the shade Bronzer. You know, it's the, I believe, like middle bronzing shade. Now, it's cracked. I've used it up a bit. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to bounce the same brush into it, and I'm just going to apply that on the cheeks right here along my cheekbone. This is going to warm up the face, give you a little definition, and then I'm going to apply it along my forehead. I feel I just really like this bronzing step to just give your face some shadows and some dimension instead of looking just like such a flat canvas. Then I'm going to drag it around my jaw, sweeping it in like this. And I'm going to blend it down the neck a little, what's left. Alright, so on this step you could continue and go into a contour. So typically when I'm going out and about, I do enjoy putting a little bit. This is the Mary Kay contour. I use the Tarte. I mean, I've used several. It doesn't really matter what you're using. I do enjoy this one, but for the sake of being your natural everyday look to go to school, you do not have to use this. I will do it right now in case you would like to see how. So you could skip this step and move on, or you could stop and throw on a little bit of contour. This is the Mary Kay contour in the shade Latte. I'm going to take a blush brush from Real Techniques and I'm going to dust that into the hollows of my cheeks. And I'm going to go around my forehead again. And then down along my chin. Alright, and you certainly do not have to do this step. Some people do it. I sometimes do it. I really don't normally. So I'm going to take and I'm going to just dip into it a little, and I'm going to go just on the edge of my nose where it kind of tapers off at a tilt. And I'm going to go on the other side. And I'm using barely any of this powder because it just looks so goofy when you can see someone's nose contour. Cracks me up. You don't want to necessarily be able to see that their nose is contoured. You kind of just want to give the illusion of some shape and dimension. So I just took it on the edges where my nose begins to dip down. I brought it up to my brow just ever so lightly. You might not even be able to see this on camera. And then I went a little bit under my nose. So then after that, I'm going to go into my highlighter. You certainly do not have to do the contour. You don't even have to do the bronzer if you don't want to. Highlight is a nice step. I will say if you are someone with a lot of acne, you may want to use a matte highlight because highlight often, no matter how nice it is, does often show the texture of your skin. So if you have blemishes in the areas you're going to highlight, they're going to also highlight that blemish, and that's not really what you're going to want to go for. So only do this if you want, use either a matte highlighter or a shimmer one if you are not worried about it maximizing your texture or showing off your texture. So I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna go to the top of my cheekbones. It's showing off some of my texture because I have old acne scars and they show when I do this, but I love this step so much and I like being a real person that I'm not too worried. So I'm gonna go a little bit above my brows to kind of highlight that area. You can do this C shape. Then I'm gonna go on my Cupid's bow, so right here on your lip. Sometimes I like to get this area as well. Just kind of brings out your lips. I don't know, I like it. Then I'm gonna go on the bridge in the nose right here. And then I'm going to hit the tip of my nose. All right, the next step, I'm gonna go in with a finishing powder. So why I do this afterwards is because it's gonna kind of mesh everything together, just mold it all together into a beautiful finish. And so I'm going to take the Mary Kay Translucent Loose Powder. I realize I use a lot of Mary Kay products today, and I've been loving a lot of these new ones I've been using, and so that's why I'm using them. And I don't know, I just have been enjoying some of them. And some of them are my best products. There's also a lot of other good stuff, but these are the things I find myself using on a everyday basis when I'm not like sitting down to try new things. All right, I'm going to take my pathetically falling apart brush. Should I use a different one maybe today? I love this brush by Aesthetica Beauty and I killed the tar out of it. So I'm gonna hold it nice and close together and I'm gonna dip into that lid and tap off any excess, and then I'm gonna go over my whole face with this translucent powder to blend it all together. This has a bit of a really minimal illumination property to it, so it's not totally matte. It does kind of illuminate my face just a little, so if you don't like that, I would not suggest this powder. It's not severe, but it is definitely a mild illumination with it. I don't know because I've only used this palette about 2 times. This eyeshadow seems to be, I don't know, I've had better eyeshadows. I'm not trying to be mean to this palette, but it seems to not blend quite as well as some of the other shadows I have. Or like sometimes the pigment is moving off my eyelid. But it is a good palette, don't get me wrong. For an affordable drugstore palette, definitely not bad. I've also heard Milani shadows are really good, so be sure to check those out if you're looking for a good, you know, cheap drugstore palette. I think they're like $13 to $15, which is more, but I have heard raving reviews about them, so I would say go for it. Now it's mascara time. We're gonna go get my mascara. I did just use this in my other tutorial. I hope I'm in focus. But for the sake of staying like nice and affordable for you. So this is the Maybelline Colossal Volume Express Mascara. I love this. I think it's about $8. It is a really good mascara for being just from, like, it's one of my top drugstore mascaras. I love this stuff. So I just finished up with a nude gloss. You can pick anything you want. Any gloss. It could be colored, it could be uncolored. I would suggest natural colors, especially if you're going to school in this look every day. Picking something super bright is gonna bring a lot of weird attention. So pick something that is more natural if you can. Alright, so now I would finish with a setting spray. If you have one, perfect. If not, that's okay, you can skip this. It does help to have one. Locks in your makeup, it gives it a more skin-like finish. Setting spray is almost a must for me. So I'm gonna take one that I have. This is not my favorite one, but I'm gonna just use it because I'm home today and I'm gonna be on the treadmill soon anyway, so. I'm going to take a little beauty blender and get any big, if there's any droplets, I don't want those to set into my makeup. I don't want any water droplets. And that is the finished look. So this is my natural everyday look. Like, mix and match, use what you have. You don't have to use what I had. I was just trying to pick things that would be at least reasonable for your budget. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this look looks great for you every day at school. And if you want an even more natural look than this, make sure to comment that below because I definitely can do that as well. Or if you'd like more glam, just tell me what you want and I'll do it for you. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope this was helpful. Alright, I love you guys. Bye guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if I failed to mention that. Love you guys. That way it kind of fills any areas Who is calling me? Riverton, Wyoming. Hello?
We've been trying to reach you concerning your car's extended warranty.
My car doesn't have a warranty. It doesn't even go in reverse. Stop calling me!
Not gotten a response. We are giving you
Scammers.